Welcome to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm with here Joe Gemayel, and he has a group called
Project Brotherhood Resolve.
Project Brotherhood Resolve. But before we get to him, if this is your first time and we're getting into the veteran stuff, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us help others. If you know someone that's struggling with drug rehabilitation or alcohol abuse, have them go to UCANMichigan.com, click on struggling, and we have mental health, housing, outreach, groups, all kinds of things to help somebody get through this, because we all got to fight together. If you know someone that's just struggling in general and need help with food or clothes or baby formula or schools, please go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. Spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on struggling. We got over 20 different groups that we work with in the community to help us. So help us, help others, help you. All right. Woo! That was a $10 handle. Joe, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I've been looking forward to this interview for a minute. Now, you and I met at the VFW Hall in Davison, but you're a Metamora guy.
Yes, sir.
And what branch did you serve?
So I did 20 years in the Illinois Guard.
In the Illinois Guard.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we are going to get into that. Why Guard?
Long story. You want the short version or the long version?
Well, I mean, we got time. I want to make sure that we have enough time.
So
we're going to have like 30 minutes. So
the quick of it is I went to join the Navy at 17.
Right.
Navy recruiter came home. Parents signed off on the paperwork. Went to MEPS, did everything. How'd
you score, by the way?
So I scored good. I actually scored 100 on the ASVAB. I was 10
Shut up.
10 short of good shit, right? So that Sunday when the recruiter came to pick us up, I was never called into the Navy office to be given a job that, MOS or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe you didn't go to like nukes or something.
Well, we'll come to that in a bit. But,
all right.
So he came over, walked in the office, found out, because I wasn't a citizen at the time. I was still naturalized, on a green card.
Yeah.
Actual green card, not.
And you were in Illinois.
Yeah.
All right.
So, they canceled my contract and everything, and I guess that put a little bit of a bad taste in my parents' mouth because, I wanted to go. They signed the paperwork, and nothing happened. Yeah. So I ended up going to the Army recruiter, the active duty recruiter, and my parents were very reluctant on not signing another set of paperwork. So we kind of battled it out for a couple of years. And
what years was this?
That was that was 20. No, way before 20, because I came in 21. So that was 1998, 99, right around that time frame.
Okay.
And then finally, I sold them on the Guard. I'll go do my weekends and go play in the summertime, and then I go to school because my parents wanted me to go to school. Me and my brother are first generation college graduates.
Very cool.
In the family, so that's what they wanted. But so that's how I ended up in the Guard. That was it. That was the selling point, going to school. But
so were you stationed where?
So I was stationed all around the state, actually. I was one of those guys that jumped around a few times, I've been in countless units, maybe 8 or 9 different units down there. I started off with the 1244 Transportation Company out of North Riverside, Illinois.
Okay.
And then I deployed with them in 2003, 2004, came back. I went with the 1744th, which at the time was located in Streator, Illinois. Deployed with them over to Balad, Iraq in 2006, 2007 as a convoy commander. Came back from that one, went to our BCT Echo 634th BSB as the squad leader for the transportation squad for the infantry folks. Deployed to Afghanistan with that one. We came back, and then from there I went on to become a 88 mic instructor, so truck driver instructor, right? Down at the Springfield, Illinois. Actually, I'm sorry. Before that, I got my sergeant first class, my platoon sergeant time, down at the 1344th, which at the time was in East St. Louis, Illinois, before they disbanded and moved it out of state. And then I went and became an 88 mic instructor for about 5 years.
All right, hold on.
And
there's like 14 questions.
There we go.
All right.
Not done with the tour yet.
Yeah, no. Well, there was so much information, right? Let me just break it out a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so you went into the Army.
Right.
And your MOS was?
88 mic, which is motor transportation.
Motor transportation.
Right.
And then you reserved until you went in?
No, I was reserve all the way.
Okay.
So, actually, I was guard.
Okay, so your first rotation was when?
2003, 2004. So
okay. How was that?
That was fun. Weird to say it, right? Obviously, it was right after the initial invasion of Iraq, so we were doing the supply lines. We were stationed in Kuwait and Camp Arabjan. We did supply runs everywhere. We went all the way up to Al Assad. We went all the way up.
What was that
Anaconda.
like? Like it wasn't freaky or anything? I mean, the stress levels
you
on
had
a
your
10,
points.
but
Yeah, you had your points. You had your times where it's like, obviously you have to be on your toes all the time and everything. And then
because vets have to define fun differently than others.
Yeah, obviously. Civilians listening to this are like, what's wrong with this dude? But at the end of the day, different personalities.
All right, hold on. Before you go further, there's always like a good funny story in there.
Right.
I know you have a couple. On your first one here.
The first one very funny story. So I'm Lebanese. I speak Arabic.
Yeah.
And we're out on a convoy. We were coming back from, I think it was Anaconda. We're going south on Jackson, MSR Jackson, back when it was still being used before they shifted everything over to Tampa. Mm-hmm. And I had one of those cab over trucks that pulled out and was able to get in between me and the vehicle in front of me.
Ooh.
And the trailer in front of me didn't have lights. The trailer lights weren't working. But, you get driving behind him enough, you kind of get the feel of what the driver in front of you is doing so you could react.
Okay.
Well, we're going through a market, so you got a ton of people walking around and everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the truck in front, I see the trailer slowing down, like hitting the brakes because I see the smoke coming out. It's desert over there. Everything's sand. So the smoke's coming up, so that cab over just slams over the trailer, right? And actually, this is the trailer. The cab went this way, so it was, caught over. And all these Iraqis came over, and they started, pulling the guy out, and we're trying to get the truck, detached from the trailer and all that shit.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's like, you were talking about moments before, and this was one of the moments because, we're caught up in the middle of this town. There's all these people, and we don't know who's who, right?
Yeah.
We're not infantry folks. We're not there to break down doors and have a shootout with people.
Right.
We're there to get cargo from point A to point B. So, our SOP is get the hell out of Dodge.
Right.
And so we're standing there waiting. We get a chain. They chained the flatbed, the little cargo truck, to my tractor, and I'm supposed to pull it away from the other one, right? So we're waiting, and this Iraqi kid, comes in with this tray of sweets, Middle Eastern sweets. I don't remember the proper name.
At a car accident?
Yeah, at a car accident. He's trying to sell us stuff, right? And I mean, they're businessmen since they're born anyway.
Yeah.
And there's flies all over this thing. It's nasty. And he comes over to me and he's like, little kid voice, mister, eat, bye. And I'm like, no, I don't have any money. I'm telling this in English, right? Because they don't know I speak Arabic at the time, at that moment. So I'm telling him, no, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. So he turns around and he says, Kos ummak, which is screw your mother.
Whoa.
Right? So I'm like, no, I'm not letting this go. So as loud as I could in my military given voice, right? I tell him, which is screw your mother and your family in Arabic. And everybody just stopped and turned around and looked at me. And that was the funny moment of that convoy. We are going to get screwed, guys.
Yeah.
We need to get this unhooked and get the hell out of here. But the funny thing is as soon as I said
How old was that kid?
I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years old or something. But as soon as I said that, all the Iraqis that were hovering around, they all stepped back and away. Oh, shit, this dude can figure it out, right? So we got it unhooked. We kept on going and everything. And, we had a safe convoy. So we've had some incidents, but they always happen towards the end of our convoys or to the units that were in front of us instead of directly to us. But we've gotten in contact here and there during that deployment. The only deployment that we actually lost someone in our company was my deployment to Afghanistan. The other ones we got lucky a few times. And but yeah, that was good because like we're going into a war zone. We didn't have anything up armored.
Yeah.
We're doing the old Vietnam sandbags and Haji. We called it Haji armor.
Yeah.
And all it was just if you can find any kind of steel plating that you could weld on your doors or whatever, and that was the armor you had. And that was it.
So the other thing I like to ask, just out of experience,
right,
is some of the practical jokes that you guys pull on each other. I know with us was kind of funny. Did you guys have any of those? Because we had a couple of the guys that would do some just foul things that were funny.
So we had some jokers, but like your actual like jokes as transporters that we would pull on each other. We wouldn't do in country because like get somebody hurt or drop a load or something like that. But we had jokers out there that would do random shit. But like honestly, there was something we called it the line of the line of no return once we crossed from Navstar in Kuwait into Iraq. Yeah, and there was something about crossing that line. Like you went from the biggest, you went from the biggest joker on the face of the planet, and then you went into 24/7 on guard. Right, and that was it. If there was joking around, it was kind of far and few in between.
Yeah, because I know in the barracks there's certain.
Oh yeah, I mean it was game on when we were in Kuwait. I mean it was so game on. Xbox had just came out, right? So, and they had Xbox was the first technology that had the interconnected gaming where you could hook up a router and play against other people and all that. So we actually buried a router in the middle of the tents, in between the tents, and it had Cat 5 cables running different tents. So we'd have platoon wars with Halo.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was kind of.
So how'd you guys finish up?
Like
the Halo Wars.
It was. I don't know. I don't remember if it was a break even or not because I got focused on working out that deployment that I would spend 3 hours in the gym easy.
Right. That's a good way to spend the time, right?
It's a good way to spend the time, but then you also got to remember, deployments, you really don't have a lot of things to do and you're constricted to one area.
Yeah. Hurry up and wait.
It's hurry up and wait. Plus, unlike, back here where I have to pay for a gym membership and I have to pay for food over there, obviously the food is free. Right. Gym member, you don't have a gym membership. The gym's open 24/7.
Well, plus it's just decompression, right?
Yeah, so it was easier to go there and hit the weights and do stuff and but.
All right, so how long was that first one?
So for the unit itself, it was actually 18 months. The unit deployed in April of 2003, came back, I think it was September of 2004. But I had the year before that year, I took a helmet on my knee during football practice and tore my ACL. So my doctor didn't clear me until about April, May, but I didn't get the word until later. So I did 1 year. My unit did 18 months in country, and it was one of those, the National Guard only deploys for 6 months, and then 6 months later, hey, we're extending you. 6 months later, hey, we're extending you type of shit. Right. I did a 12-month boots on the ground that deployment. Wow. And caught up to the end of it. So by the time I got there, they already had like the ACs in the tents and the generators and the decent, shower trailers and the shower, and shit like that. But when my unit got there was literally nothing but sand.
So they had to set everything up? So
they had to set most of it up.
So they had been there with the Seabees?
Army engineers and all those guys, right? Yeah. So, they were doing laundry like in buckets, in pails and stuff like that, and showers were far and few in between. So I got to miss out on that. You don't want latrine detail
for that.
Yeah. They were still burning shit at not my unit. Some other folks were, but those different experiences, different days.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to already go to our first break,
right?
But when we come back, I wanna kind of see how you transition and what that was like, because that's not always easy. And then we'll get into the next one. And we'll
sounds good.
Yep, and give us a shout out to your Facebook page. People can check out before we go.
Yeah, Project Brotherhood Resolve. Just
on
look us up on Facebook. You kind of see the screen over here, the logo with the ribbon on it, the purple and yellow ribbon. That's the one that you'll see on Facebook.
All right.
So yeah.
Hold on. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. I'm your host, Isaac Walsh, and this is the Warrior's Way on Spiritual Warfare Unit. I'm here with Joe Gemayel. I said that correctly?
Close.
Give it to me again.
It's good. Gemayel. Well, it's Gemayel is a proper pronunciation.
Now that I know you know Arabic, now I actually want to sit and learn something.
You got to try to say it right, but Gemayel is the way I usually say it in English.
Gemayel.
Gemayel, yeah.
Yeah, Gemayel.
Yeah.
All right, and your group is?
Project Brotherhood Resolve.
Project Brotherhood Resolve on Facebook is where you want people to go.
Yes.
All right, and he gave us this nifty little calendar here, which gives us the events and stuff that they're doing during the year, which is very cool. Is this online on your Facebook as well?
The calendar, so the events are online on Facebook.
All right.
So obviously, you go to our page, Project Brotherhood Resolve, you hit events, all those events are going to come up. We're still working on updating the website. We're 3 people on the board. We're all volunteers. We have day jobs. Some got families and kids, so there really isn't a lot of time. So
passion, right?
Yeah. We figured, we'll focus more on Facebook than the website because more people are on social media now, and less people usually go to websites were the 90s fad, early 2000, where everybody had a website, and now it's like, what's your Facebook or what's your Instagram?
Yeah.
But so we focused a lot of our advertising and marketing efforts through our Facebook page.
All right. So you come home, and what year is it again?
2004.
All right. Your first deployment, come home, and what's that like? Like you go from being constant. Did you decompress? Like
I wouldn't say I had time to decompress because literally the day that I came home, one of my cousins in New York was getting married. Right.
Okay.
So, and they wanted me to be there in my uniform. And obviously, by that time I had gotten promoted, some other stuff, earned some more ribbons and all the other stuff, So, it was a good welcome home ceremony. We landed in Fort McCoy, Wisconsin for our, deprocessing, which at the time it wasn't really a great event because they just pretty much did your paperwork and kicked you out and sent you back home kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The cool thing is the welcome home because you still had, it was the beginning of the war in Iraq, we were still in the beginning phases and there was a lot of support for it. So you had a lot of people that, unlike the Vietnam folks, unfortunately, which thank you all Vietnam folks for your service.
Right.
So you had a lot of people that were supportive. So when we came back, they bussed us back, and we're a National Guard unit, so 90% of our time is civilian time anyway, right? So, but you still change, your attitude change, your mindset changes in combat and everything. So we're coming back. They have us in these coach buses from Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. As soon as we left the gate, we had the Patriot Guard motorcycle group escort, and we had state troopers.
Wow.
Right, from Fort McCoy.
Okay.
As soon as we got into Illinois, we had everybody and their mother to the point like we're all, I'm not sure if you're familiar with North Riverside, Illinois. It's a suburb. Nope. It's a suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
And most of us were like, a few Middle Eastern folks, a lot of Latinos, black folks, white, we're mixed. We're not just like, centric or anything like that.
Yeah.
And everybody started joking like, hey, if you got a warrant, get off the bus right now because you ain't going nowhere, right? So we literally had, I want to say, and to caveat off of that, I think about 20% of our unit were actual police officers, one way or another.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think we actually had about 50 different represented townships and cities, state police, sheriffs, sheriff counties, squad cars that were there. So it wasn't all just like the same, Chicago PD. No, it was like all different squad cars from
different counties. And they all came to represent?
They all came to represent from the border, from the Illinois-Wisconsin border, we had state troopers, county sheriffs, and then, the Illinois Patriot Guard, and some of the Wisconsin ones kept going through with us. And then once we got closer to the Chicago city limits, that's when all the little villages and townships of Chicago PD came out.
Wow.
And, we didn't go directly into the armory. They paraded our buses around town. And
that had to be an experience.
Yeah, it was like an hour parade that we were.
What were you feeling? I mean, there had to be pride for that.
There were people crying. There were pride. There were people that just wanted to get home because, we've been so far away from families.
Yeah.
But it was like, man, we're people like us. Like people support us.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Because you heard some of the Vietnam stories.
Yeah.
Where, people came back and they got spat on and being called names and all the other stuff.
Yep.
And you had the Gulf War, but
yeah.
Was that like 3-4 weeks long, a month long? It wasn't too long for it to build up.
Yeah.
Whether there's resentment or not. And then the guys came home. It was just like, the groups of folks that deployed and that was it. There wasn't rotations or anything like that. And then, in between you had Panama and Grenada and all the other stuff, Kosovo. But
so just to keep them, sorry, once we get into the time frame here. So you come home. That sounds like an amazing experience and sad, like at the same time, but amazing. So you get done with that, and what did you do? Like you did National Guard, but what did you do for work? Like
I took a year off of school. I was I had before the National Guard, like I told you the story with me trying to go in the Navy and then going to school. So I was attending North Park University. It's a Christian college on the north side of Chicago, and so I decided to take a year off of school. Now. I ended up going to work, so I worked for FedEx. I started working as a package handler, and then they found out that I drove semi-trucks in the military. So they literally gave me the keys to a box. This was right before Christmas season, right? So they gave me the keys to one of their box trucks. They're like, go down the street to the DMV, take your test, and come back, right? And they trusted me. I didn't have a class, nothing license. It was just a regular Class C.
Well, they knew the military was going to train
so they gave me the truck. I went and I got my license and everything, and then I started working as a delivery.
Okay.
I was working up around the Gurnee area for Christmas season, and then I ended up shifting and working under another veteran. He was an Army veteran that owned a couple of trucks, and I was working my neighborhoods. That was fun, but at the same time, it was too much because I had an hour drive from my house to the warehouse.
Okay.
And then I had to, fix the truck, load it up, drive an hour back, do my deliveries all day, drive an hour back to the warehouse to drop it off, to drive an hour back home. Yikes. And then on the weekends, I was working at Joe's Bar. It's kind of just Joe's Bar on Weed Street. The name of the street is called Weed, and the bar is called Joe's, right? Okay. And it's one of the biggest bars in Chicago. Our capacity at the time was about 1,500 people.
Oh.
So I was one of the security guys. I don't like to. We called it door staff. We didn't call it bouncers because name aesthetics and all that other shit. But that was a fun time working there. I got to meet a lot of bands. We did a lot of cover bands. Every single country artist that came into Chicago went and did a private show at Joe's Bar.
Very cool.
I got to meet Trace Atkins. I got to meet other people.
No kidding.
And then, I want to say, no, not Jason Aldean. Real McCoy. I got to see him live.
Okay.
So another funny story is I got fired at Miranda Lambert concert.
You got fired?
I got fired. I got myself fired at a Miranda Lambert concert.
Well, you can't just say that.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, that sucks. He's leaving it there.
I know, right? No, I'll give you guys a little bit of background on that one. So I had been working at Joe's for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So Joe's Bar was actually the first bar I went to after I came back from my deployment.
Yeah.
Right? Like I wanted to go out and do some shit. I went out. I wanted to go across the street to a place called Centra. So the whole block right now is completely changed. It's been updated. There's homes and apartment buildings and all that.
Yeah.
Joe's Bar is the only place that is still there on that block.
Wow,
from
like
all
the
bars.
old school or whatever. Okay.
So it literally used to take you an hour. I mean, it's one block. It's not far. It's one block. And if you ever gotten there back in the day when it was all party clubs and everything, it used to take you an hour to get from one corner to the other.
Wow.
Yeah, because you had Sangaria, which was a Latin club. Right next to it, you had Zentra, which was a hip-hop reggae club.
Wow.
On the corner of it, you had it was called it was a country club, and they had one of those riding bulls, right? And then next to that there was something called North. I don't remember. It was more of it was a bar, but they also had like indoor beach volleyball and all that. There was Joe's. There was off-track.
So
betting.
can you talk about how you got fired?
Yeah. It's not. So I had been working there for a while, for about a year and a bit, and sometimes you just get tired. You know what I'm saying?
Does happen.
Management changes, and it's like, you know what? This bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
so you did what?
So I walked in that day, and I told every door guy, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm getting fired today," and they're all looking at me because, like, you know,
you preset your fire.
I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I told them, like, today's the day I'm out. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to quit.
So you thought it through.
I guess I wanted to go out in the blaze of glory, I guess you could say, or something like that. But
well, you didn't tell them not to do it,
right? You know, well, I told them I was getting fired. I didn't tell them to fire me, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we knew the Miranda Lambert concert was going on, and this was like right before she blew up, right?
Okay.
So by that time, she already had her production out there. You know, so they were out there managing everything. And And usually, if you ever go to Joe's on Wee Street, and you go in the back, there's the DJ booth, and there's a set of stairs that goes from the green lounge or the VIP lounge down to the stage. And that was my spot, right?
Okay.
So I was entrusted to make sure the band is safe and the band folks are safe, right? So we sectioned off. So the stairs go down. The stage is right here. The stage go down. It goes to the stage and down to the floor. We sectioned off an area where, you know, the folks can come down and watch the show instead of having to look at it from up top. And I was supposed to make sure everything's going good. So it's like, all right. And I'm looking around. I'm out there on my perch. I'm looking around, and I see one of our bartenders with her girlfriend. So I'm like, all right, cool. And she's waving me down. She wants to get in. Like, I know she wants to get in the VIP, you know. And she knows Joe. So I was like, all right, first target of opportunity. Here we go. So I go in there. You know, I come down like I'm doing my rounds or whatever, and I grab her and I freaking bring her under the cage and everything. Now, who's watching me on the perch? The producer. So, you know, they're watching me. They're looking at me. Next thing I know, I get my manager come over and start talking to me like, hey, you know, you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. You know, All right, cool guy. So I'm sitting on my perch again, and it's like,
am I fired yet?
No, not yet. Yeah, so that was the precursor, I guess. That was
like the warm up fire.
Yeah, that was the warm up. That was the precursor for it. So, you know, I go to take a break, and we always had one guy roving that would give all the other positions their breaks, and we just rotate around and everything. So I go outside. I'm coming back in. This one dude, he knew the owner, but the owner didn't like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one of the guys that piggybacks off of the name of somebody.
Yeah.
So he was sitting there at the bottom of the other side of the stairs for the VIP. And I just happened to be walking by, and he's like, hey, Joe, can you get me up there? I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Let's go. So
Today's
I took him
the
up
day.
there. Yeah, today's the day. This is it. So I took him up there. And not even 2 minutes later, my manager comes over, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you in the office. And I knew exactly what was happening, so I'm walking away with a smile and everything. Pulled me into the office. Now, the funny thing is at the same time, our bar had hired this business analyst guy to come in, you know, analyze the business, see how we could run it better.
Yeah.
And for some reason, to a lot of the workers there, it seemed like the business analyst was actually doing most of the shot calling rather than the managers.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting right here in the office. It's a small office. There's my manager to my left and the business analyst, you know, standing in front of me, and I'm sitting right there. And literally my manager did not say one word at all the whole time.
Wow.
It was the business analyst guy that was sitting right there trying to give me, you know, and it's like, honestly, I don't think you can like give somebody a what they call it, a lashing.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really give somebody a lashing if they really don't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. So this dude is running his mouth, you know, saying, you did this wrong, you did that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just looking at him like, all right, dude. Okay. So he looks at me, and then he's like, well, I think you should go home. And, you know, that's – so if you're at work anywhere, 90% of the time when they tell you, I think it's time for you to go home, more than likely it's time we're letting you go. All right. So like keywords. Play
All
on
right.
words.
I got to go to break. We got to sit tight. This is great work. We get to get the rest of the story in just a second. Everybody sit tight, like, share, and subscribe. We will be right back.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. We're out here at our 3rd annual golf outing here in the Genesee Valley Meadows. So, really good day. We have a great number of teams, great sponsorship, great people. We're hoping for a great time. The weather's good. So, we appreciate all the support we get at all of our events. It helps us fight the fight that we fight. So, thank you all. Stay the course.
A lot of fun with a good cause. This is a very good cause, and I enjoy doing it. And I have my sons with me today, and we're just going to have fun. We know we're not going to win, but we're going to have fun.
Oh, today is an awesome day today. This is our 4th or 5th one here, and can't thank UCAN enough for what they do, especially on this situation where they have this outing, Mark and Debbie and all of them. It's just an amazing outing, and I couldn't think of it brings back memories, but it's a wonderful thing, and we really appreciate it.
Welcome back to UCAN Studios. This is the Warriors Way, and I'm here with Joe Gemayel. And he has a group called Project Brotherhood, and I want to get the rest of this firing thing. They're telling you to go home, and then I want to get into how you came up with this, okay?
Right.
And we were already talking about having to schedule another show because it's just not enough time.
Yeah, not
All right.
enough time.
So you get done. Did you actually meet her, by the way, before you got fired?
So like not a handshake meet, but obviously
Like, hey, how are you?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so it's where because what my position was, perched up on that stairs that controlled the traffic between the stage
Right.
and the VIP lounge.
All right, so you let 2 people in. So you're like happy that you're going to get fired.
So I'm happy because it's like it's a great place to work. But
so
at
you
that
got
time,
some
it was-
jackwagon telling you what a terrible person you are, and yada
I'm
yada yada.
horrible. I'm
All
horrible,
right.
yeah.
Well, we want you to go to home. Okay, what happens?
So they sent me home, and then so I get out. I'm like, all right, I'm off the damn clock.
Right.
So I walk up to the bar, and that's when my manager comes over and he's like, we sent you home. That doesn't mean you can hang out around the bar. So I'm like, that's bullshit. So I just went across the street and got into the hip hop club, got into Zentra, and just started partying.
Did you
all
really?
night. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
2 things before you move forward. First thing, I have never heard anybody preset a firing with "I'm going to be fired." Like, I like your mindset there. Secondly, when you got done, you're like, since I'm done here, I'm
done.
going to enjoy the show. Joe, that I don't think I've ever heard that. I've heard lots of stories.
No.
I've never actually heard that before. So that was funny, and I just want to skip ahead because I want to make sure I give you plenty of time for this because I know there's a whole much more to
Right,
take,
yeah.
which we
Oh,
are
yeah.
not going to talk about right now.
Oh.
But what gave you, what spawned this idea?
Well, spawn Project Brotherhood Resolve. All
Yeah.
right, so this was about March 2016, sometime around that time frame, maybe a couple months before. I was working in my basement. I was putting up drywall, and I get a text message from one of the guys I had deployed with that it said, it is with heavy heart that I have to tell you that Sergeant Sergeant, was it DeLeon at the time? Yeah, it was DeLeon. That Sergeant DeLeon took his life. I'm thinking time frame because I deployed with DeLeon in 2003, but then they deployed again. I tried to jump on that deployment, but I was coming off of Afghanistan and I waived my dwell time, but they didn't let me deploy. That unit was deploying again to Iraq, and I wanted to go with them. But so that's why it took me a second there to figure out timelines again. But yeah, so I get that text message, and it's like I sat there because I had just seen him 2 weeks prior. You know, I was still at the Guard at the time. I was still down in Illinois. So some of the Guard locations have computer rooms. They call them DL labs, you know, distant learning labs. And that's where a lot of the soldiers will come in during the week and finish up, you know, some of the PowerPoints and, you know, all the 7,000, you know, briefings that you have to do. And he worked that site, you know, so it wasn't uncommon for me to come to see him. And I had seen him, and, you know, didn't show any signs of one of those guys that never showed any signs, at least to me. And yeah, to get that text message, I just had to stop. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just saw the guy, you know.
So what's going on in your mind at this point?
Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like literally, like that was it. There was nothing. Like it was, oh shit.
Yeah.
What do I do? You know. So took some time, meditated upon it, and it's like, you know what? Like, God's blessed me with a lot. You know, and I have a house. You know, I have a job. I don't have severe PTSD problems like some of these folks do. And it's like, all right, I'm reflecting upon this. And, you know, I'm still in service at the time. And, you know, you read the Army Creed, and in the Army Creed you have the Army ethos. You know, the 4 ethos. And one of the ethos is I will never leave a fallen comrade. And it got me thinking. And it's like, all right, I'm back here. I'm doing well. Other, you know, brothers and sisters aren't doing so well.
Right.
What am I doing about it? Other than just enjoying, you know, whatever God had blessed me with.
Yeah.
So it prompted me to do something, and I started looking around. And at the time, you know, we have a lot of organizations that were dealing with suicide.
Right.
But there weren't a lot of organizations that were dealing with housing.
Okay.
Right. And I wasn't a real estate agent at the time. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Didn't know anything about running a business. Didn't know anything about nonprofits except, you know, they make money.
Right.
And, you know, they help people.
Right.
So I just jumped head first into the pool. You know, like I need to do something. I wanted to do homeless housing. And I didn't want to take government funding because, you know, if you take government funding, there's stipulations and some other stuff.
Right.
So there was all this stuff that's like, all right, what do I do? So I started slowly researching it, and it's like, all right, you know, you need to apply for an employee ID number with the IRS. You need to file with the state. You need to have your articles of incorporation. You need to have accounts and all the other stuff. And I'm researching here and there, and I'm Googling like articles of incorporation, and I'm reading like 2, 3, 4 different companies' articles of incorporation, and I'm doing pretty much what, you know, great artists do, is steal other people's work. And so, you know, there's a saying, it's good artists copy and great artists steal.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm saying right here, and I'm just starting to put stuff together and putting applications in and all that. And next thing you know, Project Brotherhood Resolve came about, and it's like, you know, I didn't think about like what to call it. I mean, it's not a catchy name.
Yeah.
You know, it's not it's long.
Yeah, it's a $10 handle.
It doesn't fit on the applications name part sometimes.
But it was like,
you know.
unique too.
But you know, I'm saying right here, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, this is, what do I want it to be? And it's like, I want it to be a project, right? So there's that one. And then there's the Brotherhood. You know, we're all
who you're helping,
brothers and sisters in the military.
Yeah.
You know, there's a select few we cast out because of things that they've done. You know, we're not going to sit here and beat around the bush and be like, oh my God, everybody's just now. You know, there's a select few that
it's not how any of that works.
I mean, even in the Marine Corps, you know, their motto is, you know, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah.
But then you sit here and you talk about certain ones, they're like, no, we don't consider.
Well,
that
Joe,
person
there's
to
a
be
big
for
bucket
whatever.
of dumb you got to deal with sometimes.
Right, exactly.
You know,
so there's always that percentage.
Yeah. Sometimes people slip and fall into the dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the Brotherhood part of it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously with our mission, it's like we're resolving to make sure that our brothers and sisters are taken care of. So it's like Project Brotherhood Resolve. Yeah. Now, the one uncoincidental thing that happened is if you take Project Brotherhood Resolve and you break it down to initials, Now we're famous. It's PBR. But that website is taken, so I can't use that one.
By who?
PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah. No.
So kind of a funny thing. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if they still make it either, but for a while, Pabst Blue Ribbon came out with a beer called Beer for the 22 or Beer for the Fallen or something like that. And they would, it was called Dog Tag Beers.
Dog Tag Beers.
And they would actually put a dog tag on on the back of that can with a fallen service member's information.
No, it was real. It was a real.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Wow.
I tried to get it up in our VFW. It lasted for about a couple of months, and everybody just went back to Bud or something like that. But anyway, sorry.
It's all good. No, don't hold back, really.
So
Don't be passionate.
No, it's passion, but gotta make sure the language is good.
No, it's all good. So you get it together. How long did it take for you to get all that? And what was your focus?
Well,
what is it?
Like I mentioned, it was jumping in head first, so it wasn't really a timeline before we started operating. I started spreading the news as soon as I could.
So it's for homes.
So it's not yet.
Okay.
So what we do right now, because like I said, it's hard to raise funds, right? Especially when you're not reaching out to philanthropists and writing grants and all that, which we're getting into now.
Right.
But we focused on, so our short-term goal right now is homelessness and suicide prevention through financial intervention, right? So it's a fancy way of saying, we're going to make sure you're not homeless. We're going to cover your mortgage. We're going to cover your rent payment. We're going to cover your car payment so you have a job. We're going to cover utilities. Now, I say that, I don't want people watching this to take it like,
we're going to give you money.
I can call PBR and I'm just going to get money. No, it's like there has to be a need, right? And then after that need is fulfilled right now, you have to carry on,
Yeah.
So...
no, it's not a handout. It's handout.
It's not a handout, right? So it's it's a place to build your foundation back up,
right? And if you're worth your salt in the military, you got to handle it. But sometimes the suck hits you. It's okay.
And that what you said right there is a double-edged sword because we get veteran we're working one out right now, and the reason I say we're working one out right now is we don't have the funding in that account to help that veteran out. But we're trying to make it work, and that veteran is in foreclosure with $4,000 of a bill, and right now we're sitting at about $3,000 in the account that is for the veterans. That's for, doesn't run PBR in a separate account.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out the way that we can fandango it, because usually in the beginning of the year, as far as Project Brotherhood Resolve. The first quarter, so January through March, we barely get any veterans, or we don't get any veteran requests.
I got you.
This
Why
year,
do you think that is?
I think it's because a lot of folks usually are in shelters or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really have a need at that time.
Yeah, and then as they get it together, once it gets warmer.
Then they got to go. They got to pay the bills. The landlords have to kick them out at that point, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening is obviously there's a change in the economy. Prices are going up. Everything is going up, right? Not just real estate. So your food's going up. Your gas is going up. That's taking away money from your the money that you had budgeted.
Right.
And then the other thing is, on the real estate side, is if you're buying a house right now, the taxes used to be capped, and they're not capped anymore. So your assessed value is going up, which means your taxable value is going up.
Man.
So we're seeing people. Actually, it was a friend. It was one of the veterans that we helped.
All right, hold on. Before you get into that, we got to go to our next break. I love to hear what you guys are doing to help the people out. If this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe. It's Spiritual Warfare Unit. You guys sit tight. We will be right back. All right, we cannot tell you what we were just talking about, but man, that was funny. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Isaac Wallace. This is The Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Joe Gemayel, and he is with Project Brotherhood Resolve. And he has been telling us how his journey kind of got here, which we're going to have him back because we didn't get it all. And I want to get the whole second one separately because that'll be a good story. And we will not talk about it at this time.
Aww.
Anyways, you have a really beautiful dog. How did that happen, and why did that happen?
So the way Rexy happened, she's a 1-year-old German Shepherd right now. Beautiful dog. Very sassy. I've always wanted a dog, but with my day job, I work at the Detroit Arsenal, and I used to travel a lot. I used to go to TDYs a lot, and it wasn't conducive for me at the time to have any kind of pet because I wasn't home to really take care of it. So COVID hit and all that stuff happened and all that, and so I started thinking about it because now I'm home, more often and everything by myself. And German Shepherds aren't cheap, and I've always wanted a German Shepherd, right? It was kind of funny because when I was younger, I got bit by a German Shepherd. So
you always wanted one.
Yeah, I was phobic for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden I just started approaching dogs, and now every time I see one, I'm like, ooh, puppy! So
was it a breeder or what?
No, it wasn't a breeder, actually. It was a friend of a friend's. It's kind of another weird story. So a friend of mine from Springfield, Illinois, posted on her Facebook page, hey, I have a friend that's selling German puppies, Shepherd puppies for $600. And I was like, that number's wrong.
Yeah.
German Shepherds aren't cheap.
Yeah.
So I messaged her back. I'm like, are you missing a 1 or a 0 in there somewhere?
Yeah.
Like 1,600 or 6,000? Which one is
Yeah.
it? She was like, no, they're purebreds. It's $600. I was like, all right, I am on my way. Like no hesitation.
So why her?
Why her?
Yeah, out of all the puppies.
Why Rexy out of the whole litter? So by the time I got there, all the boys were already called for. It was 3 boys and 4 girls in the litter. But for some reason, I always wanted the girls, like, 2 guys in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too much testosterone going on. Plus, my brother has, I have a nephew. My brother has a kid.
Yeah.
And eventually I want my own kids. And usually female dogs do a lot better of the nurturing type and the protection type with kids than the males do.
Yeah. Now, do you still take her everywhere?
Yeah. I try to take her everywhere as much as I can.
All right. So the first time we meet, we are at the VFW hall. You were there for whatever it was. And we're sitting there. And I was just getting back into society and function. I'm very in the corner, just kind of watching because it's just really overstimulated.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of things going on, your conversations.
Yeah, so I'm like, card, and that's why I'm like, I got to step out because it's just killing me. And you're sitting with a dog, and I just watching her tail wag, right? And I'm like, that's just a good-natured dog. And she was all bouncy around you, and you're jerking around. And then I'm like, well, who's this guy, right? And the dog brought me to you, so it's kind of like... It was kind of cool, and because I didn't know if she was like a stressed, but it's just you just have her with you all the time.
Yeah, I have her with me all the time. So she's not certified. I'm gonna get her certified.
I mean, exactly like you see on TV. The coloring, I mean, she's just beautiful.
So the reason I picked her is I've always wanted a German Shepherd, and I've always wanted a pure black German Shepherd, and those are the most expensive.
Yeah, because they look like a wolf. Which is awesome, by the way.
So there's 2 of them. So you have the all-black German Shepherd, which is a natural German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And then you have the blue German Shepherd, and that's the one that they're crossbreeding with wolves. They look immaculate, but they're like outlawed in a lot of places, and they're expensive as heck.
Which we would never do.
We would never do at all. No, never. So I went down to Springfield, Illinois, and I met up with Karen, and Karen took me over, and we met Kyle. Kyle, who is in the Air National Guard, and one of the airmen that worked for Kyle was a soldier that worked under me in the National Guard.
No way.
Yeah, so, we started a conversation. Like always, what do you do? What do you do? I'm like, I'm in the Air Guard, blah, blah. Oh, do you know this person? Yeah, she's under me. Oh, crap, she was under me.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting right here, I'm looking at the puppies, and this, this is as soon as I walked in, Kyle had a puppy that he was holding, and she had all black face, and he just came out and said, she had a pink collar on her, so, their names at the time were the color of the collar.
So she was pink.
Yeah. So he was like, pink collar here, she figured out how to escape out of the cage, and without hesitation, I was like, that's the one I want.
The escape
I'm
artist.
always wanting an adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do this.
Nice.
So that's how I picked her. And I told him, I'm like, I'm going to name her Rexy.
And why Rexy?
Something about that name that just, it's different.
Okay.
It's barely used. Usually I get a lot of people that will call her Roxy because they're used to that for being like a female dog's name. But I don't know, just different. I like the name. I like the way it rolls. And
Dude, I love that answer.
So-
Your answer is because that's what I wanted. I love that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I went and I got it. And it's been a year. It's been a fun adventure teaching her how to do a lot of stuff. And since the same night that I got her home, I started introducing her to people. I had friends of mine that came over, and and as soon as I could, I started taking her out and introducing her to other pets and all that. She does very well around pets. Even some that are aggressive, you'll get some dogs that'll start barking at her, and she will literally just sit there and look at you like, okay, whatever, guy.
Right.
We were up in Frankenmuth during the auto show.
Yeah.
At night they take the cars out on the main road.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they do burnouts and everything. And we're walking over there. I had her on the leash.
I believe that's called testing the durability of the rubber.
Right, and making sure the asphalt's the right gravity or something, And
Allegedly.
that's what they say. So
Sorry. So you got the dog out. They're
my
burning
next
rubber.
political campaign. So I'm walking her. It's night. There's all these cars in the background doing burnouts and everything. People honking and yelling.
Yeah.
And this other German Shepherd who the owner had, thank God he had on a leash and not on a vest. Mm-hmm. He just started lunging towards her and barking, right? And the owner, like, you could, if you ever have a dog and you get your dog trained, when you're out in public, you could notice which dogs haven't been trained, or which owners haven't been trained to control their dogs, right? So this guy was pulling on his puppy on the collar, and there was like no commands, nothing, just pulling on him, and Rexy was just like standing there, just looking at the other dog, like, why are you having a tantrum, dude?
Right.
But no, she's very calm. We took her everywhere. Took her, Lapeer Days. We took her Woods and Waters.
Yeah.
We took her, obviously, Frankenmuth. We took her to the bike shows, the Bikes on the Brakes here in Flint.
Yeah. Well, this is a good
Canterbury Village,
segue
everywhere. Yeah.
to this.
Yeah.
Now, you took
Yeah.
her to all these places. Now,
Yep.
this is January 2024, right?
This is 2024 calendar. We
All
still
right.
have a few.
Yeah, and then you have some flyers.
Yep. We got our next 3 events coming up.
Let me see these real quick. I want to get the shots. All right, so the first one is the Valentine's Day Sip and Paint.
Yep. So Valentine's Day Sip and Paint is happening on Valentine's Day, which is a Wednesday this year from 5 to 7 p.m. We're doing it at Tilted Access Brewery in downtown Lapeer. It's $25 per person. It includes the first glass of wine. You could register online, or you could register the day of. We still got tickets, but the seating is limited. We're having it in the upstairs of Tilted Access.
So it's a private limited event.
Yeah.
Titled Access. How many
Tilted
spots?
Access. Tilted Access.
How many?
Yes. So we're aiming for 50.
There's only 50 spots.
Yeah, so we're having the artist is a veteran artist. Her name is Denise Metivier, and I'll talk about her a little bit more in the third flyer that you have over there.
Tilted Access Brewery.
So she's bringing all the equipment and everything, and you get to walk out with a wonderful painting that.
It's one of those where you make it
with.
with, and they show you how to do it.
Right, they have like an example piece, and you kind of follow through with it while
Gotcha.
drinking wine and all the cool stuff.
All right. Well, there
So
might
we
only
got
be
that.
48 spots. I got to talk to the
All
wife
right.
about
Well,
that.
we got about 5-6 tickets sold so far. Obviously, we're 2 weeks away, so we're
Well, so
rushing
you're already
for it.
down to
So-
like 42
right,
spots.
Right,
All
exactly.
right.
So the next one you're holding right there,
Battle of the Branches Comedy Show.
Battle of the Branches comedy show. We got 8
You got some
comedians.
dudes. 1,
Yes,
2,
we
3,
do.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Some of those are actually local to Flint as well.
Okay.
So we're having 8 comedians. Every single one of them's a veteran.
Okay.
So they're going to battle it out. They're going to cuss each other out on stage and all the other stuff.
And this is in Metamore Alliance Club.
Metamore Alliance Club, right across from the post office on Oak Street. It starts at 5:30 on the 23rd of March, which is
Gotcha.
a Saturday, so everybody has time. Don't sit here and tell me you don't.
Yeah.
It's $30 a ticket, or $300 for a sponsor table. I'll talk about the sponsor table here in a bit.
Yeah.
So it's $30 a ticket. Again, you can get it through our Facebook page. We're going to do a cash bar. We're going to have a buffet. We're talking with E.G. Nicks in downtown Lapeer to provide the
E.G.
buffet.
Nicks?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Wonderful
And then
place.
raffles and the silent
Raffles, silent auctions.
Do you know
and
any of the
50/50s.
silent auction stuff?
Not yet. We're still working on that. Can't reveal that stuff.
Yeah.
It's got to be a secret. You got to
Can't confirm or deny.
So the sponsorship on that one, like I said, is $300 for a table of 8.
And what's it going for?
It's $300. You get a table of 8. You get 8 free drink tickets, one for each guest.
Yeah,
for
no,
the
no, no.
first
What's the
drink.
money going for?
Oh, the money goes. So the money goes for Project Brotherhood Resolve, and anything that after
like the
paying the
housing
bills
and all that?
So after paying the bills, it's going to go into our general account. General account does the financial part of making sure the veterans don't end up homeless.
Perfect. All right, that one's good. All right,
So
and
we
then
got that. Yep.
oh yeah, all
That's
that
the
is here. Let me
sponsorship information.
That's very good.
Yep. So you get
Dave can
social
do his-
media mentions. Awesome. Your logo on the backdrop on the business banners.
Hold on, we got to
and
get to
everything.
ready. Ooh, also. Yeah. All right, we got that. All right, last one. Project
All right.
Brotherhood Resolve Veterans Gallery Show.
Veterans Gallery Show. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth on that one.
Okay.
So Veterans Gallery Show was incepted about 4 years ago.
Okay.
When COVID hit, Strength in Numbers, Renee, who you're familiar with, was actually became like a center for food distribution.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
that was kind of like where Strength in Numbers got boosted up, which Renee does a very outstanding job.
Right.
So there was delivery that needed to go down to Detroit. Nobody wanted to go down to Detroit. So I went down to Detroit. I ended up meeting Jay Elias, who is a Marine veteran who does foundry work. So he deals with fire and metal, right?
Okay.
And that's his therapy for PTSD.
Well, he's a Marine, so that makes
That
sense
too,
to me.
yeah, you know.
Fire and metal, that's his downtime. That
didn't-
makes sense.
He didn't have a Navy ship to ride on,
Not
so
chess.
He was making one up.
Fire and metal.
So, a couple of deliveries later, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him. I'm talking to Jay.
Yeah.
And he just says, hey, why don't we get a couple of veteran artists together and just have a show? And I clicked right away. So I worked for Virginia and Todd back in Chicago at Trader Todd's karaoke bars.
Okay.
I'm going to advertise that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. If you're
yeah.
ever in Chicago, go to Belmont and Sheffield, Trader Todd's karaoke bar. Very awesome.
And thank you for your support.
Thank you. They supported me actually 10 years on and off. I worked at Trader Todd's after I got fired from Joe's.
That's all. Allegedly.
So, allegedly. Got myself fired from Joe's. So,
Right.
So
it says here, nautical mile north of 9 Mile,
Yep.
Jefferson, St. Clair
Jefferson Avenue.
Shores, Trader Todd's Marina.
Yep.
And then it says paintings, photography, woodworking, and more. What's that for?
So that's the
the
artist.
gallery?
That's the gallery.
So this is all artwork in these categories.
Right. So it actually, and more what we're looking for, we got about 4 veterans from the last couple of years that have recommitted to showing their art.
Okay.
And they get to sell their art. And we're looking for more. So if you're a veteran that does artwork,
Well,
whether-
dude, we got somebody
that
that does wood.
Yeah, we'll take woodworking. You've met the folks from
You betcha.
Hope Float.
Oh, yeah.
They've had their work down there as well. So
Oh, I got some of their work.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
Dude,
There
are you
go.
kidding me?
There you go. They do very good
Woodwork
job.
so good, you'll slap your mama.
Slap your mama with it. Or your mama
Gotta put
will
some
slap,
Franks on it.
Or your mama will slap you with it.
That's
whichever.
right.
But so we're still looking for artists. We still have room for artists. The cost to be involved in the gallery is one of your pieces of art that you value at less than $100. That's all it's going to
That's
cost
all
to
it
get
is?
you in there. Right?
And your number here is 773-456-4716.
That's my number.
Or Trader Todd's Marina at 586-776-5650. All right.
Now,
So
let me talk about the schedule real quick.
right, you
'cause
got
that's
60
very
seconds,
important.
so
That's-
whatever you
that's
need.
all good.
Hit
So 31 May, it's a gallery opener. We're doing a military formal. It's free to get in. Just dress up, show up. We're going to have orders, cash bar. Obviously, the art gallery will be there. The Macomb County Young Marines are going to do opening ceremonies. We're working on getting the Army band in there to give us background music.
very cool.
June 1st in the morning from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. we're having a sip and paint event.
Okay.
And then from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., we're having another Battle of the Branches comedy show. So if you missed this one, come down to St. Clair Shores. On Sunday, June 2nd, we're having brunch starting at 10 a.m. until the food is gone. And then from 1 to 5 p.m., we're having the Orbit Sun Band come out and play for us. So these events are open to everyone. Just because it's a veterans gallery, it's not strictly for veterans and military folks. It's
But
open
they
to
can come out and
everyone.
support their veterans.
Come out, support vets, buy some art, and help us out. And that's
Very
what
cool.
it is.
Joe, I was looking forward to this. This went exactly like I knew it would. Run out of time. Got to have you back. Was a complete blast.
Definitely.
Cannot
Definitely.
wait to get the stories behind the scenes, and we may or may not tell you on the next time. Thank you so much for showing up. If this is your last chance, please help us get the word out. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.